is Azeroth Rediscovering. My name is Brett.
My name is Jess.
Today we are talking about Razor Hill. Razor Hill is an orcish outpost built on a crossroads in central Durotar. So that's what Gamepedia says. Now Razor Hill is where you come up from Sinjin Village and you continue your quest line. There is a major quest here, and we're going to meet who's going to give us that major quest in just a minute. But first I want to talk about how Razor Hill looks. So Razor Hill has the orcish, kind of has the orcish theme on it. It has kind of the watchtowers and the spikes coming out of it. And if you played Warcraft 3, they look very familiar to the buildings that if you played as the Orcs, you would see the buildings that they have here, which is really cool. Let's see, so let's get into our first quest. We have our first quest here called Lost in the Floods, and this one's going to start probably the most notable quest in the area. Do you want to talk about Lost in the Floods, Jess?
Yeah, Lost in the Floods had us, it had us meet with Thonk, and he gave us a spyglass, and he had us go up to the top. Actually, I think we met him at the top of the water tower. Either way, we had to go up to this tower with this glass and look over the ruins and find four people that had been what's the word I'm looking for, Brett? They were kind of
stranded.
Yeah.
They were Thonk and stranded.
Thonk and stranded.
So
the quest was simply he gave us a spyglass telescope or whatever, and we used it. We located the people. That was it. And then we gave we went back and reported to him, and then he gave us this other quest.
Yeah. So you essentially you had to go up this watchtower that was kind of off to the side of Razor Hill, and Thonk was at the top, and then you got the quest from him. He gave you the spyglass, and then I thought you had to go to kind of each side of the tower and right click it, but really you just had to right click it and watch the cinematic. And if you tried to skip the cinematic, you would not get credit for the quest.
Right.
So you just had to do that, I think, 4 times, and it would kind of zoom in and show you where the person was. And I immediately thought, okay, now we gotta go rescue them. And we kind of did. So after that Lost in the Floods quest, we then got Watershed Patrol, which, just as I said, you had to now go help these people. So this quest has you doing not just 4 other quests, because there are 4 people, but you had to go and help them, and sometimes their quests were multiple quests. Do you want to tell us more about Watershed Patrol?
Yeah, so, again, after we got the glass from Thonk, and we looked at the 4 people, we went back to Thonk, and then he gave us the orders to go, it was his main quest to go to these 4 people, and when we went to each of the 4 people, they all gave us a task, a quest. Some of them, I think there were 4, and out of the 4, 2 of them gave us multiple directions. So, I really enjoyed this. Before we get into too much detail of what they do, I really enjoyed this aspect, because a lot of the times when we're playing this game, I know I have a quest, and I know I have to do this thing, and then after I turn this in, it's the thought that I have to, I don't know if I'm thinking ahead about what I have to do after I turn this quest in, I don't know. So I really enjoyed this, because I knew that I was going to have a lot to do before I ran out of things to do.
Right. And that's cool, because you can also often pick up other stuff kind of while you're doing this, and sometimes that can be overwhelming if you're not, if I guess it depends almost on what kind of person, or how your brain works, if you want to just focus on this one thing, which that is very inefficient in the World of Warcraft video game. doing multiple things at the same time, collecting this while you're killing this, while you're also mining or skinning. Like, multitasking is the efficient way to go about this. So yeah, this was cool. We did pick up one while we were doing something, right, for the crocodilus teeth.
That's one of them. So okay, so and that's I have kind of it mapped out how we did it. So we had four people. I'm gonna try to say their names, but I know that I probably can't.
You don't know the native Orcish enunciation?
I don't. So
pronunciation.
Like, I read these and I'm like, oh, this looks like Rhaegar Targaryen. Like, that's what this name is in my head. So how do I say this name?
Ragaran.
Yeah.
Ragaran.
So Rhaegar Targaryen. That's what it says. He was one of the ones that gave us 2 things to do. We had to kill 4 Razormane
Quillboars,
and then
and 4 Razormane
scouts. 4 Razormane scouts. So that was 2, and then we had to kill 5 Razormane Dust Runners and 5 Razormane Battle Guards. So that gave us 4 things to do for that guy. One of the next people. Well,
I was going to say the one quest was 4 Razormane Quillboar and scouts. That was one quest.
Yeah, one. Yeah,
and then the other one was the Dust Runners and the Battle Guards. So
right, he gave us 2 quests, but it was I meant we were looking for 4 different.
Oh yeah, 4 different mobs. Yeah.
So it gave us that was 4 things that I had to look for. At the same time as the other things I had to look for. So this was really cool to me because it really made me have to pay attention. The second person was Grand Matron Tekla.
Yeah, that's Tekla.
And the only thing we had to do for her was escort her to what's his?
Rhaegar Targaryen.
So when I read that, I'm like, okay, cool. So we'll get her before we go to get that other, there was kind of like a system. The third person was Misha Torkren. Torkren. She had us, the quest for her was to obtain 250 crocodilus teeth, and that's what you started to say in the beginning.
Yes.
So,
which I initially thought, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they drop more than one tooth, per kill, because this is like a all-day event.
Right. Fourth person, again, 2 quests. 2 quests within this one character.
Hold on, you didn't say his name.
I was getting there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was kind of trying to put it off.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want to give it a shot?
Zin Taji.
Sure, unless that J is an H.
Taji.
It's probably Taji.
Yeah. So he had us do 2 things. The one quest was called Unbidden Visitors. We had to attack 3 wayward Plainstriders until they fled toward the Barrens. The next quest he gave us was That's the End of the Raptor, and we had to slay Scream Slash, which was a big raptor, and we actually ended up doing that twice because we killed him for funsies.
We found him, and we were like, oh, this is a named mob. I think you understand that now, that sometimes there's special, right, almost boss mobs. They used to be, oftentimes they were elite mobs. So this final quest for the build up would be a group quest, which I don't even know that we've encountered a group quest yet. Maybe we did one where it said suggested players too. I think we did see that.
We have. I couldn't tell you the name off the top of my head. But,
but
definitely did.
That used to happen, not very frequently, but it was, every, I don't know, maybe every 20 quests you'd get one or so, and sometimes people would skip it, or they'd, ask for help or something, and I just don't think, that's the case anymore. And even if it said suggested players too, I doubt you'd even need that. If you're a skilled enough player, I bet you could figure out a way to do it without another player. So we went back and killed Scream Slash.
So, well, hold on. We got these 4 quests, and it made sense to do Misha Torkaren's first, because we picked hers up first, because we kind of, at the beginning, we assumed that these gathering 250 Crocodilus teeth would take quite a bit of time.
Years.
We really realized that was not the case. They did drop quite a few.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy to get that done.
And we can both loot, like, the same person, right? Is that how it is now?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. I think this was one of the times where we could both
get the
loot it.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's not the case.
Right.
And I have yet to figure out
Yeah, it's still...
where...
I used to know, like, they've changed it. Like, it used to be, it was totally separate. But now, sometimes we seem to be able to, and sometimes it seems like we can't.
Right, so we picked up the Teeth quest. Then we picked up the Grand Matron Tekla quest, because she needed to just be taken to that guy. Then we got his quest to kill the 4 different types of things. So, and then we, on our way, I think while we were working on Ragaran's quest, that's when we saw Scream Slash and we killed him, and then we went and we got the quest to kill Scream Slash. So we had to kill him twice. And when we were killing him the first time, like, you were like, I bet we're going to have to do this.
Oh,
I don't know when, but I bet we're going to have to do this, because he, like, you could tell he was different from everything else.
Yeah.
He was really big.
And they also have, it's like they have a quest marker on their name now, or, like, by where the, like, where the elite dragon kind of, so there's, like, a golden kind of frame around his title bar. There's, like, a quest thing there as well. So it's kind of like telling you, like, this is meant for a quest at some point.
Right. So we went and got that quest. We went back. We killed him again. And then after we did all of these things for these 4 people, we had to go back to Thonk and just, tell him we finished what we had to do for him. And it was... I really enjoyed this, because there was an aspect of putting together and planning, like, the best route to take as to not backtrack through this. And because I don't, like, video game much, like, me even realizing that there was a way to do it efficiently was a big deal. And I liked that I had a whole list of things that I knew how to get done. And, like, this was one of the first things where, like, I was able to kind of act independently from you, as opposed to following you around while you did a quest and I just looted for you.
Yeah, you would, so the way most of the time, this is, let me see if I can paint this eloquently. I would be killing mobs. I would cast Mind Blast. I would cast Shadow Word Pain, and then I would Mind Flay. You would kind of be running towards them at this point. I'm not sure if you had cat form yet or not. But if you did, you're only melee, so you have to get up on them. So you might hit them once, and then if you even hit them, most of the time you didn't. They'd be dead. I'd loot, you'd loot, then I'd be on to the next one. And that would happen. You were kind of just following along, and that's kind of what happens. We'll get to this later on, but that's kind of what happens in instances.
Oh my god!
it's like a see if you can. It's almost like they're racing to see if they can get to the end of the instance before we can loot everything, and they can kill the final boss before we can catch up to them.
Even be in the same area.
This instance race is.
That's a whole different episode.
Yes,
you're getting ahead of us.
I'm very ahead. Anyway, we're back to.
We went back to Thonk.
Yeah,
to report on this meta. What'd you call it?
I called it a meta quest.
A meta quest.
Because do you understand why I call it a meta quest?
Okay. I understand.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what you know.
I know everything.
Okay.
except how to play WoW, which is why we're here. But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So we went back to the hem to tell me we did this, and I, this was probably, at this point in the game, this was my favorite thing that we had done. Because it took a lot of thinking, and I was actually able to, work effectively by myself.
It took a lot of thonking.
I had it perfectly, and then I ruined it by not saying it. I set myself up for a good joke.
You could have said, you could have said thonking. Should have said thonking.
I should have. If I would have thonk about it.
If you would have thonked it. I don't know.
So, after we took that back to Thonk, he gave us, I don't know, he didn't give us another quest, but we had a couple more quests that we had to do. I think we picked them up earlier in the level, but we had to do a storming the beaches and a shipwreck searching quest, and they kind of went together as well. They were both in the same area, and you could do them at the same time.
And these are always, I shouldn't say always, but I enjoy this because, it's that efficiency. I really enjoy the efficiency of going and collect these. You're looking for an item, so you're looking for these gnomish tools and the shipwreck searching, and all the while there are these foaming sea elementals that are around for storming the beaches.
Right.
So you're doing the two at the same time, which I mean, if you guys play World of Warcraft, obviously you do the multiple quests at the same time and come back, turn them all in.
This was kind of tricky because this was we had other people that weren't playing with us in our group doing this quest at the same time, and they kept interfering with what I was trying to do, and I think that we had other people show up one time before, but this was
it was just kind of the first time we saw
during a quest where because I think for the gnomish tools, didn't we have to bust open treasure chests or something?
Yeah, there were chests just kind of scattered throughout the beach.
And man, I would be running toward a treasure chest, and then somebody with more abilities than me would fly, literally fly over me and just go bust it open and run away. And I'm like, come on, man. Yeah, I can only go so fast. That's not fair. I was here first.
I think we saw a maximum level, unless I'm misremembering. I know we saw at one point we saw a maximum level guy doing the same quest as we did. I don't know if Jess noticed it, but I did because
I didn't notice, but you told me to look at him.
He was on a flying mount, and you just can't do that until a certain level. So, he was doing the quest probably for reputation.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the point would be, and all of the World of Warcraft, all the places he could be, why would he be back at the beginning? What would the point be to that?
There's a couple reasons. He could be trying for an achievement of do a certain amount of quests in a certain area, or he could be doing for reputation, which that's probably the more likely reason is the reputation, because sometimes items are exclusive. You have to be a certain.
And is it? I think you've kind of led me to believe, and maybe I'm misinterpreting. He's not getting. Well, he's max level, so he's not getting XP anyway. Right. But he has out-leveled that area. Even if he were level 90 or something, right, he wouldn't be getting XP from doing that stuff. He would just be trying to accomplish something else, like a reputation or an achievement or something.
Correct.
He couldn't level up down there with us little babies.
Right. I think I want to say if you're about 5 levels higher than every quest has a quest level. It doesn't necessarily display it to you, but if it's too low of a level, then you won't get anything from it. And the same goes with killing a mob. You won't get anything if they'll turn gray. And gray.
I was actually ahead of, because we're about a week behind in the podcast from where we are in real life.
Right.
And I was playing a couple of days ago, and I had out-leveled where I was. I was playing without you. I wasn't really playing. I was, like, trying to do the daily, like, nonsense stuff that I do when you're not around.
The skinning and
just, like,
cooking.
Just out and about. Just sightseeing is what I think I'm doing. But, like, I accidentally picked up a daily quest, like, with the blue.
Oh, yeah.
And I was out, and it gave me, I out-leveled something. I couldn't get any XP from something I was near. With
the dailies are kind of a little bit different, if I'm not mistaken. You can do daily quests. You might just keep doing the daily quest even though it's giving you minimal experience or gold. You might just be doing it for the reward. Like, I know there are cooking daily quests, and I'm not sure if they reward experience or not, and there are fishing daily quests. And most of those you do at max level, from what I know. Again, guys, I haven't been maximum level, in 4 years, so I don't know a ton when it comes to those things and what the newer max level area is.
So
we were getting our gnomish tools and so we were doing our shipwreck searching and our storming the beaches, and then we went ahead and headed back to Razor Hill. Is that where we were turning these in?
Yeah, I believe I'm almost certain. While we were, I think we had to travel kind of a little bit, not really, but we were running in. We had quests that we had picked up, and we were like chipping away at them. The big quest cleared up a lot of our list, but as far as the little list on the side of our quest log, there was the one we were heading to turn back in, and then one more, which really meant nothing to me, but like when we play this together, we are on Skype. I can see Brett's face. He can see mine. And when we play, like, I sometimes try to read his face a little bit about what's going on, So we're running to turn back in this seemingly unimportant quest of killing the sea elementals and gathering gnomish tools, and I can just, like, he's got this, like, grin, like this silly little kid grin on his face, and I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. I must be missing something. So we have one quest left, and it is called Meets to
Orgrimmar. That was pretty good.
Orgrimmar.
The smorgasbord.
And again, that means nothing to me. I have no idea what this is. I don't know how to accomplish. Like, every time I get a new quest, I look at it, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I have to read every direction. Like, Brett just tells me to read the little baby words at the bottom of the quest, but I have to read it all because I don't know what I'm doing. And I know that this is the last quest. I don't even know that that's by Brett smiling. But we go turn in the quest for the sea elementals and gnomish tools, and I'm like, all right, Brett, meets to Orgrimmar. How do I do that? What do I do? That's pretty much what I do every time I get a quest. I just ask you how to do it, and you either tell me or you don't. And this one, you were like, well, Orgrimmar is a new place, so we're going to have to fly there. And you were super excited, and I didn't know why.
Yeah, we were flying into the Horde capital city, which is the really big, very populated, very heavily populated area. And we had to take a bat handler. Or I guess it was a wind rider since we were in the orc.
Yeah.
The orc.
It was a wind rider.
Yeah. So, it was very simple. We just had to fly in there, and we had the item in our bag already from picking up the quest. So we both got on there, and we were both flying pretty much, right together. And then we both landed, and I was like, hey, this is Orgrimmar. Look at all these people. These are all real players, and you can interact with them if you want, and, you can talk to them. They may or may not reply to you, but, you can /hug them, /kiss them. / dance with them.
/ fart on him, which I think is ridiculous.
You can do that too.
He does that to me often. Just in case anybody wanted to know. I think, like, when we very first got in a party together, level 1, 10 minutes into the game, you farted on me. And I was like, what is this game? This is stupid. Why am I getting farted on in this game?
I brushed up against you and fart loudly.
You did.
That's what it says. I think it's farts loudly. It might be softly. So we went in there, and, I mean, it is, Orgrimmar's a pretty big city, and not to mention, I'm not familiar with it after it changed during Cataclysm, so I'm sure you didn't see it before Cataclysm, but it looked different. And after Cataclysm, it changed around, not like drastically. Actually, I would probably say drastically. It's the auction house is like in the same place, but the bank has moved, and no one stands on top of the bank anymore. People used to always stand on top of the bank and just kind of hang out there and jump and, spin in circles and talk about stupid things. But you can't really, you can get on top of the bank, but it's not like a go-to place anymore, which kind of sucks. And I think there are too many just kind of nonsense places in there that just really don't. I guess it adds character to the city and adds, maybe realism, that it's more than just, the stuff you need, but, there's like there's that orphanage in Orgrimmar, and I'm just like, this is kind of weird, why is this in here? And there are some other stores that just, kind of have junk, and I'm just like, man, like, there's a lot of excess stuff that could be removed. Anyway, did you have any thoughts on going into Orgrimmar?
Well, I think we should cover. I think my thoughts on the city as a whole are an episode worth on their own, because there was so much in there. But as far as getting from Razor Hill to Orgrimmar, the flight in, it was a pretty long flight. Probably the longest one we've done so far.
We've only done like one other one, I think so.
Really? I thought, okay, maybe.
Yeah, so, but no, it was longer.
It was long. So, I was super impressed. Again, I know I said it in the last episode with the graphics in the game, but like, when I'm flying into Orgrimmar, I'm looking, and like the map tells you kind of like, I pull up the mini map, or I pull up my map while I fly, because I want to know where I am, where I'm going. And there's just so much detail, and that is, like, I can't express how impressive that is to me. And like, I finally, like, I want to get down, like, I want to get off and get down and go look at what this is, because it's like, I don't know how to get there, but I'm flying over it, so I want to get off and go look, because I don't even know if there's a way to get to some of the places we fly over. Like, I'm sure that it's all playable stuff, but I have no idea how to get there, so I just want to jump off my little Wind Rider and go check it out, because it's super cool. There are some parts that look awesome, but then, we got into the city, and I was just in awe, because what happened when I got in there was what I expected the game to be like, because I expected to see other people, but we had been playing for a few days, and honestly, we only ran into, I would say, if I say 10, I'm being very generous with how many other players we had seen. So when we get in there, I was just like, holy moly, like, are these people even playing? Like, what do you do in this city? Because this is where everybody is. But, more on that next week. But just first impressions, I was like, I could spend forever in here, apparently, because there's a million people here, and they have to be doing something.
Yeah, and some people just hang out in there, and queue for instances, and it's just the hub, it's where people sit. I think that's gonna do it for this week's. Does that sound?
If we go into anything else, if we touch on anything else we've done there, it'll just be a waterfall of all the things we did there. So that will be next week. We did a lot when we got in there.
Yeah, we did. And
professions and trainings and all kinds of stuff to go over next week.
Yeah, so we can talk about, next week we might talk about some of those things we did. We also have the Northern Barrens coming up. So that will be our next leveling area. So Orgrimmar and Northern Barrens next week, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how Orgrimmar goes, and maybe touch on both of them if we have enough time. But otherwise, we are finished for the week.
Thanks for listening.
Yep. If you guys want to rate us, leave a review on iTunes. We are up on iTunes. You probably got this, so you know that already. We're working on a couple other media outlets, so by the time you hear this, they might be up. But that would probably be SoundCloud and Stitcher. So if you guys want to check out that, you can.
I am also very newly documenting my new. I started
trip
a Twitch
through Azeroth.
I started a Twitch channel to document how foolish I look while playing this game. What's my Twitch name, Brett?
Twitch.tv/CoopTroop.
CoopTroop.
Yes.
Granted, if you tune in, I will be ahead of the podcast, but I don't really have a schedule or any set time or plans on what I do, but just if it looks like we're doing something fun, I'm not really going to ever stream myself skinning things when I'm not playing with you, but if we're doing something fun, I might turn it on. So
yeah, so if you guys go on there and you follow the channel, you will get a notification when she goes live. It's almost exclusively on weekdays. If it is on weekdays, it will be in the evening, probably 6 to 10.
6 and 10 sometime.
Eastern time. And then, the weekend gives a little bit more flexibility. So, anyway, if you guys want to check that out, you can.
Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Yep. Well, we also have a Twitter.
Oh, we have a Twitter.
So I don't believe I've tweeted anything yet, but we do have a Twitter. So if you guys want to check that out, that's at A Rediscovering. So Azeroth Rediscovering, but it's A Rediscovering because Azeroth Rediscovering is too long of a Twitter handle. So they have rules, and I had to shorten it. So A Rediscovering.
A Rediscovering. That's pretty simple. Simple enough.
It is. It is. Better than Azeroth R, I guess.
Yeah, which is what he wanted to do, and I was like, how about we do A Rediscovering? Because at least that sounds like a complete thought.
Azeroth R. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
All right.
We will see you next week with Orgrimmar and maybe Northern Barrens.
See ya.